Hello and welcome. You're listening to Start Again with Shauna Lee, the place where you will be reminded that it's never too late and you're never too old to do the damn thing. So stick around if you're ready to vibe higher and be inspired to chase your dreams. Together, we will uncover your soul's truest desires. Now, if you're ready, let's get started. Hello, and welcome back, everyone. Thanks again for joining me. Today, I am introducing you to my new online friend, Kassy. She is going to tell us all about her business. I will let her pronounce her last name for you. But Kassy, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. It's been such a pleasure to meet you, and I'd love if we could just get started by you telling everyone who you are, where you're coming from, a little bit about your business, but specifically, how have you embraced this idea of starting again?
Ooh, that's a great question. So my name is Kassy Dieujuste. I am the owner, lead designer of Moments with Materials. It is a design/tile store that helps homeowners, realtors, contractors in actually facilitating the design aspect, because that's the common I want to say that's a common problem nowadays, or that I've kind of come into, how the homeowner would like to have something done to their home, but the contractor is not speaking their language. And so there's always like conflict, homeowners feel like, they're not really getting the design that they wanted, or they're spending an exorbitant amount of money and still not satisfied with like what they've gotten, I've gotten into this business. My mom raised 3 girls. I was raised as a tomboy, so I loved construction. I just wanted to be anywhere that had architectural features, and it's kind of how I got into tile/architecture business. But starting was not very easy for me. Being in a male dominant, business was very hard, and every time I tried to do I'm going to start doing, a little bit of tile first, it didn't really pan out as I had anticipated, And yeah, it definitely broke me down a little bit. But my driving point was that I know that I had this gift. I usually can walk into a room and be able to say, okay, we just need to change XYZ and this will be great. I remodeled my mom's house before I even had graduated, with my degree, and everyone still raves about it till this day. And I keep saying, this is like 15 years ago. This is when I didn't know anything. Like, you guys love this still? This is impossible, But more so, it was just kind of feeling that, I can do this. I don't have to be afraid, that it's a male dominant area. I can totally kick butt doing this stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just had to believe in myself and just keep pushing myself, because the thing is that if you don't believe in yourself first, no one's going to,
Absolutely.
And being a mom of 4, I wanted to teach my kids that as well. You don't have to always strive for something and then you bat and then you lose. It's okay.
Yeah.
You've tried it and you knew now, okay, that wasn't really what you wanted to do. Okay. For me with design, no matter how many times I fall, I get back up, because this is what I love doing. Like, I live and breathe design. Like, I walk into a restaurant and the first thing I do is my eyes are going like, oh, They should have changed this. They shouldn't have had this light. This is not the right wattage. I'm like, crazy lady. But I love this stuff. So I know that I can't give up on that, no matter how hard it is.
Well, and you're right that it's a gift, because I do not have this gift. You are one of these people, I'm sure. You can walk into a space and be like, oh, if we take down this wall, if we just change this one thing, you have the ability to visualize what it could be. I do not. I come in and I'm like, I know this could be better. And everybody, so I love throwing birthday parties. I also have 4 children.
Nice.
And so I've thrown many, many birthday parties. But everyone's always like, oh, this is so creative. This is so great. I'm like, no. I just copied what somebody else did. Like, I can copy like no one's business. Give me the picture of what it needs to look like. I can make it happen. But being able to visualize kind of what it needs to be, that is a skill that I do not have. I'm okay with that.
And that's okay. And exactly. See, that's okay. We have to understand that we have certain gifts.
Yes.
And it's okay that we don't have all of them.
Oh, for sure. Yes.
Let's strive to be in that one lane, because that's what will make you valuable, when you look at stuff, you're like, oh, I'm great at this.
Yes.
Master that.
I think a lot of people have a challenge seeing what their gift is because it's so easy to them. Like you said, I'm the crazy lady when I walk in and I'm picking it apart. We could very easily find that to be a flaw or a fault of ours. And why I love your story is because you have taken that and found a way to build an entire business around this thing that you do really well. And I'm going to venture to guess means you really love this work you're doing.
Oh my God. It for me, it's more so about like the clients I work with. It's also changing their lives,
Mm-hmm.
You run into, homeowners, husband and wives that, have just bought their home, or they've lived in this house forever and they've been wanting to remodel it, but they couldn't. But now they have like the funds to do it, and they want this, this design, and they've been waiting for this whole, and their whole 5 years, 10 years that they've been saving up this money. You know what I mean? So for me, it's like a journey that I'm going on with them as
Mm-hmm.
well. And I'm helping them create something that's going to last a lifetime. I mean, you know, that to me is why I do this. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I love helping other people enjoy the spaces that they're in. You know what I mean? We work so hard. We're at work all day long. I want them to come to their master bedroom and just love to be
Yeah.
home. Love
Yeah.
to just say, you know what, I've worked hard and this is the fruits of my labor.
Yeah,
You know
for
what I
sure,
mean?
for sure. And I don't know if you know anything. I follow feng shui and kind of design from that
Okay.
perspective. But there is a lot of attention that we should put on creating our spaces intentionally. And so you're
Yes.
creating beautiful spaces but the energy behind loving the space you're in is what is important, right? Like,
Absolutely.
and from a feng shui perspective, it's all about attracting good energy into and you can put things different places or use certain colors. And it's kind of cool that you can be creative that way. But it all comes down to the same thing, which is you should enjoy the space you're in.
Yeah. I mean, you have to look at it. The space that you're in, it changes your mood.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's just like it's just like working out. When you wear crappy clothes and you go work out, your workout's really not going to be as great.
Mm-hmm.
When you found like a tank top that was on sale and you bought some like leggings and they fit you just right, you got some shoes, I guarantee you're going to be running or walking for no reason,
Yeah,
just because you feel, I mean, you do, because
that's
you just
true.
feel amazing.
Yeah.
You feel great. You feel like, oh, I'm just going to wear this tank top. It doesn't matter. I got this on, we feel
Yeah.
better. And that is the same thing about design. When you're in a room and you're starting your day, and if your bedroom is not like optimal, how are you going to, it's hard to start your day. You're like,
Mm-hmm.
kind of dragging. But when you've created a space that you can just have your mind clear, you are so much more potent when you're going out in the world to tackle all of these, things that are coming at you. You know what I
100%.
mean?
Yeah.
It just changes you. It really, really
It
does.
does. It does. So when you look back at your story, kind of beginning to here, what inspires you most about your story?
Um, I think what inspires me most is being a mother, because that, and having to have your own business and pick up kids, it's very difficult when you think about it. You're like, oh, how am I supposed to do
Mm-hmm.
this? I have to go pick up my 5-year-old. I have to go pick up it gets kind of like
You're
nerve wracking, but you
describing
know
my
what?
whole morning conversation.
I'm telling you, I just did this yesterday. No, I'm
Yeah,
joking.
yeah.
But I think I want to just inspire other women that do have kids that, either haven't gotten their degree or just says, I can't do it because I have my, 3-year-old or whatever. Just know that you can.
Yep.
You can totally do it. Having a kid is not going to inhibit you from doing what you can do best. You know what I mean? I think sometimes you find these stories that, you find these amazing women, and the reason why they've come up with all these concoctions is because their son was sick one
Yep.
day and they were stuck at home. And then look, now they have like this amazing, tea or whatever that they've invented for us. And we're like, oh,
Yeah,
crap,
yeah.
I wish I could do
Yeah.
that. You can. That's the thing. You
Yes.
can. Just don't put any limits on yourself. We can do anything. We
That's
create
true.
babies. I mean, hello.
Hello. And I don't meet very many people who also have 4 children. Like 4 children is a lot.
Yeah, it's I know. I count them every day. 1, 2, 3. Oh, yep. I got 4 of you guys.
So I have 2 older girls and 2 younger children,
Okay.
and so I call them my bigs and my
Same here.
littles, and
No,
my
same here.
oldest is 29, and so she's married and lives across the country, so I don't see her very often, but when they're
Okay.
all 4 together, all talking to me at the same time, I'm like, "Who had all these children? Like, why are there so many of you? There's so many."
What were you
I
thinking? No.
know. Well, and my oldest daughter, when we play this game that I always tell them is not a fun game for me, the how old will you be when someone is whatever age, and then I figure out how old everyone else will be, and I'm like, this is not a fun game. I don't enjoy this game. And then my daughter, my oldest, one time she was like, yeah, Mama, you didn't plan that out very well.
I just always say I'm 25. So that's it. It
Yes.
doesn't
I
matter.
used to say
How old am I? Mom's 25. It's
25. Yes.
fine.
No, I used to tell people because for a while I was getting, oh, you don't look old enough to have a X amount kid. And I would just be
Oh
like,
my god.
oh, yeah, no, I started when I was 12. And then one time this person's eyes got really big. And I was like, not really. I wasn't really 12.
Oh my gosh.
No.
It's like our own little humor because we get it
Yes.
and we're just like, fine, judge me. I get that all the time. And my daughter, she's taller than I am. We go together and she's like, oh, is that your sister? And they're like, no, that's my mom. I'm like, no, I'm the mom.
Yes.
Yes, I'm short, but that's
Yes.
okay.
Well, and I think back to that comment where my daughter said you didn't plan that out very well. To me, life never turns out the way I planned. And
Okay.
thankfully so, because if it were up to me, I would have had such a short, small sided vision for what I wanted. Like when you open yourself up to embracing your talents, embracing your gifts, and kind of go taking the risks, I feel like it always ends up better than I could have planned it myself.
Absolutely.
I think those moments of feeling as if we have failed to me are always really just lessons. And so when you
Uh-huh.
look back on your journey and each of these lessons that you've encountered, what do you think is the common theme in those lessons for you?
Um, I think the lessons are always when I fail because then it teaches me a new lesson that I needed to learn to move forward. You know, I didn't anticipate from when I started designing that I would have a business that encompasses all the things that it does right
Mhm.
now. I didn't imagine that it could. But it was because of the circumstances that I was in, the things that had happened. Like I had gotten really into this when we were remodeling first my mom's
Mhm.
home. I had just gotten out of school. I was in the tile business. I had designed bathrooms before. Great. But the problem with all that was my mom, when she was remodeling her home, the contractors, one, were always like agitated with what she wanted, didn't really listen to her. And then they ended up leaving the project.
Mm.
So my mom had a house that was not even finished. And so we had to go into like, I want to call it survival mode in a sense. We had to figure out how to put this house back
Right.
together. You know what I mean? Fast forward, it's like that was all the stories I was hearing. You hear people that, they start with the contractor, they start this, but then no one else helps them. They don't know how to now they have a disaster home
Mhm.
or, oh, now their floor is not finished and now they got to get Home Depot just to, put the materials in and just get it over with because now they're stressed, they're done. They don't want to do design anymore. All these things kept having to come with things that I was doing, and I had to change. Oh, no, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Now I need to encompass helping with a contractor. So now it's, yes, we do design, but we also work with other contractors to facilitate. So we are the middle person that helps the client. We help you. Okay, we're going to come up with design first because people don't understand design is so essential.
Mhm.
You need to understand your space, how to maximize the potential of what you're doing in that room.
Right.
What are we doing?
Right.
Okay. Let's figure out the design first, colors, flooring, wallpaper, whatever. So that when we hand this to the contractor now, he's not having a guessing game.
Yep.
He's not asking you millions of questions of, oh, what's the color of this wall? What's the flooring? We have that already set. And so all he has to really focus on is the builds,
Yep.
is the plumbing, is the electrical. That's it.
Well,
And that way,
yes, because you're essentially just putting together a plan. Clients come to me and I don't know how to do this thing, whether it is starting a new business, putting your life back together after divorce, write a book, like whatever the
Yes,
thing is, you just need a plan, because once you have the plan, you can work your plan. And that's what
exactly.
your design is. It's your plan that you are
Exactly.
then working your plan.
Exactly. We give you the blueprint. We help you get everything first because it's all hashed out. Because in the end, yes, it all comes down to money. You're like, oh, I can't afford
Mm-hmm.
this. Don't worry, we will figure this out. We're gonna know when we're done what this is gonna cost us. And the thing about it is, it's not gonna go up or down unless there's something that's unforeseen. Obviously, at a job site when you're dealing with an old home, you don't know what's behind the
Right.
walls. You let the client know we don't know what's behind the walls, but this is as much foolproof as we can do. You know what I mean? And then that way the client feels like they've been heard, they understand what they're getting, and no one's going to, do anything different than what we've already spoken
Yeah.
about. It's right there.
Well, in each of those failures, as you call them, through the years when things didn't work out or
Hmm.
whatever, is just your building block. It's your experience that better
Absolutely.
prepares you for the next
Absolutely.
future project. Yeah.
Absolutely. I want to say each project that I've done, if I felt it in any way, has made me a better person, a better designer, a better like a better in every aspect.
Yeah.
Because the thing is even though I missed the mark on something, or even though I didn't do 100 on this, it's okay. I didn't know that it needed to be there. I was learning. Okay, now I know I can do better.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the difference. Because it's one thing to know and not do better, but one thing to, finally understand. Okay, now I can really make sure that this is done
Yep.
correctly, you know?
Totally. Well, it's like Maya
Yeah,
Angelou said, when you know better, you do better. Yeah.
exactly. And that's what we should strive to do. It's like, once you know better, just do
Yeah.
better. You know what I mean? Don't just say, oh, well, it's
Yeah.
okay. Okay, now you're intentionally not doing better.
Yes. So when you look back on the younger you, what advice would you give her?
I would say to still stay persistent, stay persistent in the things that you love. Um, and just know that there's a bigger path ahead of you.
That's good.
Because sometimes I didn't stay persistent. Sometimes I felt it and I stopped and I was like, ugh. And it took me a year. I wish I didn't do that because I would have been a little bit further along, but I take those lessons and say, you know what, it's okay. You didn't understand that was a lesson you needed to learn
Yep.
right then. Now you understand that was a lesson you should have learned. How do you get yourself to be better? Okay. You know what I mean? So that's what I would say to my younger self is to, just stay persistent.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, this whole idea of don't give up, um, keep moving forward. It's good. It's good. I
Yeah.
love that question
Yeah.
because so much wisdom comes out of it. So I love it.
I think so. And it's not always easy. You know what I mean? And that's okay. And I think that's what we take on ourselves sometimes. We don't think that it's
Mm-hmm.
easy. And because it's not easy, we're upset. And it's like, no, don't be upset.
Yeah.
It's not easy for a reason. You need to learn something right
Yeah.
here. Take that message, take that learning mechanism, and then build yourself above
Right.
that.
And so when you look forward and you think about what's next for you and kind of where you're going, what do you now believe is possible for your life?
Anything is possible. I mean, I have a store right now, a storefront, but I see that it's not only here, it's other
Mm-hmm.
locations, new locations, more. You know what I mean? I can definitely see that without a doubt.
Yes. By the way, tell me about your store. Where are you located?
We're located in North Hollywood. Um, yeah, we're not too,
No,
are we
no,
close? Are you close by?
I'm in Texas. But
It's
but
okay. I'm gonna come
last
visit.
June, I spent some time in Hollywood, so I was just there and had my birthday brunch in Malibu. Like we ventured all around Southern California. It was really fun. And if you do come here, that would be
Nice.
amazing. I would love to meet you in person. Just don't come right now because it's really hot.
Love.
It's really hot.
We're going to be coming, I think, in the next month or so. I know it's like
Hmm.
110, I
It's
think,
really
right?
hot right now. Yeah.
I know.
So, what part of Texas are you going to?
It's called Kima.
Oh, yes, outside of Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Don't ask me all the other.
Yeah,
I won't know.
yeah, no.
That's
They've
as
got
much as I know.
they've got a really fun boardwalk there that is good fun.
They do. I think what I really want to go back so bad for is this one place, and I'm going to mess up the name. I want to say it's called Jolene, but it's not. It's called, I don't know, I forget the name, but they have this amazing like enchilada with like what was it? Was it tongue tied?
I don't know this
It's
one.
just so good. How about that? It's
It's
just
so good.
amazing.
Well, I will
It makes me
say
want to go back right now just for that. It is
the
an enchilada. I think it's an enchilada.
the food in Texas is pretty good. I think we've cornered
You
the
do.
market on Tex-Mex, which is a step beyond just Mexican food, which is good in and of itself. But Tex-Mex,
Yeah.
like change the cheese and you add some queso, it's great.
It's amazing. That's all I can tell you. Okay. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
finger licking good
It
for
is.
sure.
It is. Between the Tex-Mex and the barbecue, we pretty much cornered the market on that good food.
I will have to agree.
Well, I love that whole. So I asked this question, and it's starting to get a little repetitive because
It's
everyone
okay.
that well, it's repetitive in the answer, which is amazing
Okay.
because so many women are saying anything is possible. I can do whatever. The sky's the limit, and I love that because I don't think everyone in the world views their life that way, but all of the women that I am interviewing have all said the same thing. Anything's possible.
But I think it's because we've accepted our flaws and
Mm-hmm.
we've understood that the reason why we're here today or right now is because we haven't given up. You know what I
Right.
mean? And that's why we're so, you know, let's put the hammer down, like
Mm-hmm.
anything is possible.
Yeah.
Because from a 16-year-old girl, 17, 19, 21, 25, all these ages, again, I didn't know that I could really do all of this.
Yeah.
You know, even graduating, I didn't think if certain things were possible because, like I told you, this is a male dominated area. In construction, it is fully man.
Yep.
Like every time I go on a job site, it's like all men.
Yep.
And walking onto a job site for the first time was not easy.
Yeah.
Telling, the general contractor, okay, well, this is what I want, make sure this is where the plumbing goes. They were not happy. You know what I mean? It was not a pretty sight. And for me, I was like, okay, am I doing the right thing? Like, is this how it's supposed to be? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. For me, I see a lot of myself in the story that you're sharing. So just getting me to graduate from college was the first big hurdle, right? Because teen pregnancy, married way young, had another baby. The fact that I even graduated college was like, holy shit, I did this thing that I thought was impossible. But then I very quickly found myself in technology sales, which is a male dominated environment.
Yeah.
And there were very many times I lost count how many times I was literally the only woman sitting in the room. And it builds a certain amount of resilience and character to be like you question yourself. Like, but I also learned a lot about myself and about the way that kind of women navigate the world that is very different than the way men do. So it was a valuable experience that in the moment was really uncomfortable and I didn't like it a lot of the time, but it was
Yeah.
so helpful.
Yeah. But the thing that we should always take away from that is we don't have to be very masculine. We don't have to do that.
Mm-mm.
We can still be feminine in all the ways that we are. We just learn the lessons and say, okay, you know what? Great. Because there's a difference. Sometimes some of us, because we're very emotional, we can take it in the wrong connotation. We'll say, okay, well, yeah, now I can do anything. And it's like, hold on, just chill. We don't
Take a
have to
beat.
be that rough. We don't, yeah, exactly. We don't have to do that. Like, we can be just as strong and just as vocal. We just have to be able to, postulate ourselves a little bit better. Because sometimes that might be misconstrued as something else. And then now we're the B word and now we're all this stuff when we're just trying to be heard. We're just trying to be like, hey, we can do just as much as you can. But why when I say it now, I'm this person? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just sometimes we do have to just, figure out that niche, because we don't have to be too harsh.
Yeah.
We're soft. We're women. Let's enjoy that.
Well, embrace our differences and our
Exactly.
uniqueness for sure. So you talked about niche. Who is your niche? Who's your ideal customer? What's your audience?
Out of all the clients that I've actually been doing work for some reason, it's always been like husband and wives,
Mm-hmm.
couples, and I think bachelors, but I don't want to say too many because I've only done maybe like 4 homes, So to me, it doesn't matter. I love designing because the thing about that is, as many modern homes as I've done, I've never done one that's ever been the same. Not one.
You know, it's as you've been talking and sharing these stories, it was reminding me, I love these do-it-yourself design decorating shows. You know, HGTV is a whole
Yeah.
thing. There was this one episode I watched one time where this couple, this married couple, were moving from one state to another, and they were moving from like this old home to this new one, and they were renovating the whole thing. They had very different views on what they wanted. This husband was like, I want comfortable, quaint, cottage like feel. And the woman was like, I want brand new, I want modern, sleek lines. And these designers, I don't know how they did what they did. There was a lot of editing, I'm sure, that happened in this show. But have you had those scenarios where the husband and wife don't agree?
Gosh, absolutely.
How do you help them compromise?
First, I let them get their differences out, because you have to let them be heard, because there's no way that you can actually move past if they're not feeling like, okay, well, I just don't want this. I'm like, okay, that's great. So we know that she doesn't want to have this, and we know that you want to have this. You know, I had a client, he wanted a urinal, and it was his own little office space, and he just wanted a urinal in his bathroom. She was like, no, you're not having a urinal. Even though it wasn't even in her space. She was upstairs, the bathroom, you know, and he's just like, no, I want a urinal. I was like, look, we're going to figure this all out. Don't you worry. You know, and during the design process, I told him, we're going to get you a urinal, even though at first she was like, no. But then once we all put it together and I helped the design process, she actually accepted it and was like, you know what? It's fine. I guess since it's in your office space.
Yes.
I'm not even going to be in there, but whatever, you know? So it's always, everyone's going to have a knee-jerk reaction is what I call it. Mm-hmm. You're going to have that knee-jerk reaction because, one, cost is coming in their mind, you know?
Oh, for sure.
You always get the husband that wants to do the speakers. You know, that's the main thing. You know, whenever I want to do a house, one thing I know the husband's going to ask for is like a whole bunch of speakers in the home. Yes. And the wife's like, no, we're not getting a speaker, or we're not getting a 70-inch television. Like that's like always, you're not going to get a man cave, or, you know, you're not going to, you know, it's like, okay, just let him get it out. Yeah. It's okay. I'm fine with them just getting it out. And after that, once I draw everything, because I've heard what they want, what they need, I put it all in the plans, and it'll have some of the things that they've asked for, some of the things that they, you know, but it's a balance. And I help them understand this is just a balance, you guys, because in the end, you guys are both going to be living in this home after I'm gone. You know what I mean? So they end up actually compromising once they are able to see, oh, we can have both. Yes. Because in the beginning, the initial reaction is, oh, no, we can't have both. That's why you can't have that. You know, I want to have drapery. I want to have a sofa. You know, the woman always wants the practical things for the kids and for that. The husband wants like irrational things sometimes. And so that initial thought is, okay, we can't afford both, so that's not happening. Yeah. But once you're able to show them that, hey, we can have a compromise and be able to afford both, that's where the softness comes in. Yeah. Because I hear it every time. I love that. I hear it every time.
That's amazing. Well, okay. So my last question is, how can people find you? Let's say some of my listeners are in California, in the Hollywood, Los Angeles area. How can they find you?
Yeah, they can come down to the store. The stores open Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. We're located at 4795 Vineland Avenue. If they want to come on by, they sure can, or they can also reach out to us on our website, momentswithmaterials.com.
Fabulous. Well, I will be sure to link all of that in the show notes so people can just click on over there easily. But I am so grateful that you came on to talk about your store and your business. So thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
It was a very fun conversation. And like I told you before we started recording, I feel a little selfish that I just get to have these amazing conversations and meet very cool people and then share it with the world. So fun.
Well, I'm envious of that. And I commend you and all the things that you do. And thank you so much for having me on this.
Yeah, absolutely. So whether you want to write a book, start a new business, or just put one foot in front of the other after divorce, the very first step you must take is to find your center, to align with who you really are. The way to do that is to find your very own perfect balance between body, mind, and spirit. Are you ready to figure that out for yourself? Pop on over to shaunalee.com/align to gain access to my signature program. In just 45 minutes, you'll learn all you need to know to create your own plan to find your center. Align is the program name. Find it under services at shaunalee.com.